Hello, welcome to Anything Goes. Hope everybody's doing all right out there tonight. With me, as always, is my co-host. Hey, there's no names. What's going on?
I don't know. What did you do? What did you
Oh,
break?
here we go. It's
There
Jason,
you go. It is.
SiriPapers.com.
This is true.
It's not just SiriPapers.com. You've got, what other websites have you got?
So Jar of Paint comic or jarofpaint.com is my comic site, but I'm going to be rebranding it because Choopy Rules is going to be coming hopefully this week.
Oh,
So I'm going to redo that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we got some things coming.
cool. That sounds
Yeah,
exciting. Um,
hopefully. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week because I'll be on the road back from Alabama. However,
oh,
the next episode we do after that,
yeah.
I can show you some Choopy Rule stuff.
Oh,
Debut it to the masses.
wow. Okay, well, I look forward to that.
As
Um,
well you should. As
yeah.
well you should.
Oh, definitely. So there'll be well, there might be hidden existence and anything does next week, but without Jason, who knows?
I don't. I mean
Mm.
you could be here and give the people what they want, but in your heart there's going to be an emptiness, and I apologize for that. But I'm always with you in spirit, Daniela.
Absolutely, I know that. I always know that. You're always there.
Always here.
That's great. So hello to everybody in the chat. Who've we got? I don't often give shout outs, but I should do because I've not been around for a while and I feel a
Yeah.
bit bad.
Shout out the good people.
But I've had stuff on, and it's just hard to find a balance sometimes to fit
Yeah,
things in. But
it really is.
hello to Cheese Freak, Ginger Snap, how you doing? Jody, Anita, Sugar Britches, Gary Spike Senior, who's unfortunately had a storm and hasn't got his full internet working.
Mm.
He's on his phone tonight. Jack Melton, how you doing? Sugar Britches, have I said Sugar Britches? This is
You
the thing
did.
now, I can't remember who I said.
Yeah.
And now I'm just repeating it. Max Powers, not shouting for once, which is a good sign.
Yes.
It's obviously calmed down now. Johnny C5000, who's a newbie.
Oh.
I apologize in advance if I have a ton of newbie questions. I'm new to Bigfoot world and with so many experts, I'm just trying to find my level ground. Well, you know what? You've come to the right place and we'll get into Bigfoot in a bit if you want, if
Yeah.
you've got some questions. As Jody says, there are no experts, only people who've had experiences. But we think we know something about them, don't we? Which is very, very little.
Yeah.
Um, but it's probably a good place to start
Hmm.
by coming here. But first, Fred Muppet's in. How you doing, Fred Muppet? Don't forget to tell me about the stuff I ordered. Um, we actually have you heard of Suma Foods?
No, I haven't.
They're kind of like they're not just organic, but they're kind of nice products, fair trade. I think they are.
Oh,
Uh,
gotcha.
um, you can order from them online, but you have to you have to order a certain amount money wise.
Gotcha.
I think it's like
Hmm.
£350. I can't remember. And
Hmm.
so I've not done it for a while, but I've done it this time. I've joined someone's order, and I've ordered some stuff. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
can't remember what I got. Oats. Got a big bag of oats, 10 kilo of oats.
That's a lot of votes.
It is a lot of oats, and now when I think about it, I remember getting 10 kilo the last time, and literally making every single recipe you can out
Yeah,
of
I
oats.
was about to say, like, you're gonna be eating all kinds of oatmeal, oat bread. You're gonna start like be making your own oat-based skincare products.
Yeah, that's an idea. I mean, I couldn't I?
Yes, you
You
could.
know, what a great idea. Is that what you use? The old oatmeal face pack?
I use the I don't use anything. I'm this lovely naturally.
Of course. Of course. I don't know why I even suggested that you need a face pack.
Well, I mean, it's what I can understand.
And
You
also,
would believe that someone as gorgeous as I am using a great deal of product, but no, I am
no,
simply that
just
naturally beautiful.
au natural. Well,
Yes.
lucky you.
Hmm.
So you wanted to talk about something very important that was
Yes.
obviously it's been getting to you for a while now.
Like 2 weeks now. Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Where the arrow is. What is that?
The end piece. I guess we call it the crust, even though you get a crust all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
I
I heard one of your fellow Brits refer to it as the butt. Is that a
yes.
common phraseology?
No, I didn't know that, but funnily enough, I actually picked that out because
Uh-huh.
well, let's get a word in tonight, and if it's anything, it can be but.
Yes.
I never heard it called the butt. It's usually like the end piece or the crust or the thick,
Mhm.
the thick slice. I mean, I'm not sure really when I think about it now. I guess the end piece is the more popular term. Why on earth it's called a heel?
I
I
honestly couldn't tell you
know.
why it's called the heel, but that's what we call it here in the US. Like everywhere. That like normally, like again, like carbonated beverages are soda pop, soda, Coke. Like there's all kinds, but everyone in America is universally it is the heel. It's the heel of the, and so when I heard it is the butt, I'm like, say what?
Right, what are people saying in the chat? This is the heel. Val says it's the heel. Glow, the hill. I think they mean
I
the
think
heel.
that yeah, I think type meant the
Sugar
heel. Yeah.
Rich is the heel. Randy the butt. Strangeland the heel. The crust, yeah, I think I call it the crust.
Well, and Hilton's from
It's called the
Australia.
knobby.
What?
Fred Muppet calls it the knobby.
The knobby?
Please explain
The
where you
knobby?
get
What?
knobby from. The
What?
heel, Addy says a heel, Jack.
Yeah.
The heel, yeah. The butt end of the bread, call it the end piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of that? So yeah, I don't know. Where's heel come from? Why on earth would you think the heel? The heel. You think if
Yeah.
the feet are heel, they would be together, not at either end.
Well, I could. Okay, so I think the heel, right? The heel of a foot, right? It's the hard piece of where because you get that thick callus and it's round. It's usually a darker color. Maybe I honestly have no idea where it came from. Like why we call it the
You don't
heel.
get regular pedicures, do you?
No, although okay, so
I don't think everyone's heel is crusty in a different color. Come on, let me see
okay.
people's heels. Can we have some
Ooh,
pictures?
I don't know that we want to. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're asking for it.
Well,
So that's an entire episode.
Let's see. You just said they're all crusty and dark. If anyone wants to send a picture of their healing,
I had a misspent youth in martial arts. I can't feel anything with my heels anymore.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so okay, so I have to admit something. I have a confession to make. So
drum roll. Hang on, let me find that. I can't find the drum roll.
please go with the drum roll. I have a deep. This has really been weighing on me, and I'm glad that we have this moment together. Close enough. Close enough.
Go for it.
I bought a skincare product for my foot at the mall. We were in the area. We just wanted to get out. There was one or two things we wanted to do. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go to the mall. So we drove there and they had this salt from the Dead Sea scrub. I mean, don't get me wrong. My wife was amazing when we probably got $100 and something of product out of this guy for like $50. But yeah, it's so you rub the salt from the Dead Sea on, and then it extracts all of the stuff, and then you put the cream on, and I'll be using it on my foot. I have to confess. So yeah, I bought skincare products for my feet.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
you say that,
but it's not. There's lots of men do that. Pretty sure. Who are into skincare and doing that sort of stuff.
Well, there's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things. Don't make it right.
Well, I mean,
But
you
I
know,
bought
I don't
skincare
think
products for
any
my.
less of
Well, I'm
you.
over here saying I don't need skincare because of my luscious
Yeah, but your
beauty,
feet are a
natural.
different thing. Your feet take on
Yeah,
everything,
yeah, that's
don't
fair.
they? You're
They
on
do.
them all day. Well, they're on the floor all day at some point, most of the
Yeah,
day. You should look after your feet. You know, they have the old.
absolutely. Yeah, and I am supposed to be applying moisturizer to. So I do have like I'll send you. I will send you pictures of my heel. They are like I said, my misspent youth has built up massive calluses, and like I have these cracks and extra
Oh,
skin thing. Like it's like my wife has often thought about getting a cheese grater to go after my heels. I wouldn't even feel it.
that's what
I
they
mean,
use. That's what they
mhm.
use anyway to get all
Oh
that
no,
stuff off. Just
my
go.
sister is an
Yeah,
esthetician and
right.
also a massage therapist. She hates my feet. She's like, "Come in, I'll do a pedicure," and I'm like, "I'm not getting a pedicure. It's just not happening." But
Go and
she's
get
like,
a
"We need to."
pedicure. Go
Nah,
and get on it, Jason. Go and get a pedicure. You will be amazed
I will
at
do the
how you.
salt. I will use this. I'll use
That's not
salt from
going
the
to get
Dead
that.
Sea. I got
That's not
that.
going to get
Yeah.
that crust off. That butt. That heel.
The butt of my heel. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
to sort those. Honestly, you'll be amazed. It's not like, fancy tickling your feet and putting polish on. I mean, she will really go to town and get all that off, and you will have like the most smoothest, softest feet just to match your everything else, basically.
That's fair.
Um, Try it. If someone's offered to give you a pedicure, go for it. Rip their hands off with that offer and go for it. Honestly, trust me. Um, trust me. Um, Titan wouldn't do a pedicure, but do spend extra on shoes. Yeah, shoes are so important.
Yeah, no, shoes are important. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I actually spend more money on shoes,
Yes.
per item than I do on clothing.
Hmm.
I think it's really important to have really good
Oh yeah.
shoes. Your feet are
Oh, the wrong
so.
pair of shoes will screw up. Yeah, it'll screw up your back more than
Yeah, there
anything.
you go. She'll probably use a treble. Um,
I probably could actually. It's
yeah. Well, I mean, they do kind of use
an
those
actual
two.
belt sander.
Yeah, my
Yeah, no, they do.
pedicurist actually does use a blade, just to get
Hmm.
those hard bits off. So let me just check my email if anyone sent me any heels. Um, oh, that's disappointing because I really wanted to see it. I mean, is this like squeezing
Hold
spots?
on.
Let's see
Yeah,
people's
hold on.
heels
Okay.
or toenails. Like,
Hold on a
have you
second.
got like the worst toenails? Um,
Oh, you don't want to see my toenails.
no,
Actually,
get
my
them.
toenails aren't that bad. Hold on.
Get him on a
Hold on,
photo
since we're doing it,
and
let's
let's
do it.
see. Let me be the judge of that. I mean, the audience. I'm ready for a pedicure anyway. I know that much. It's not like I do it all the
Well,
time,
hold on.
but
Yeah.
no.
I may need better lighting.
Oh no.
Hold on. Mm.
Oh, you've lost you now, I think. You've frozen. You're back.
We can do pictures of my heels. And that gives everyone like 2 weeks to get good photographs of your heels. Right? That's all I'm
Have you just
saying.
sent me? You sent some. Oh no, you haven't. I thought
No, I'm gonna need to get a better
just
picture.
looked and it was that loaf of bread, and I thought, oh yeah, they are bad. Is that the picture you sent?
No.
um,
So how was everything this last week? Like you had the Queen Mother's
mm,
Platinum
yeah,
Jubilee.
Jubilee. So
How
we
was all
had,
that?
well, we had Thursday, Friday off, classed as bank holidays.
Nice.
So it's been a long weekend kind of thing. I didn't really get involved because I'm not remotely interested in the royal family as such. She's great doing what she does at her age. Um, and yes, to a point, it brings us some revenue, having a royal family and people, tourists and all that, but costs us a lot of money,
Hmm.
like something like 350 million a year. and we've got a lot of stuff, problems going on.
Yep.
It's a big house, isn't it? That palace to kind of keep for the Queen just to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other properties that they've got, I don't know, 350 million a year could really do a lot more for our country, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for the people, who really need it.
Well, didn't they say that they spent like £1 billion on the festivities this year?
Say
That
what?
was
Sorry.
I'd heard, so I may be wrong. Again, didn't spend a lot of time listening about it, but yeah, they had said that they'd spent like £1 billion on the celebration this year.
Oh, probably, yeah,
Yeah.
probably. You just think of the security. They had the red arrows. I don't know how much that costs. The aeroplanes that go up with the coloured smoke. Do you have them over there? You must have your own.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we got them.
Yeah, all the the horses, the trooping of the colour, and I mean it's massive. It is massive. But yeah, it's a lot of money. I'm just a bit of a stickler for how much money the government take off us. What we have to pay out, the cost of living, and like our minimum wages, and that great, and we're just throwing money up like fireworks every year on bonfire night. Quite a few £1,000 gets put into that kitty to buy a load of fireworks that they're just going to set alight for a few moments. I don't know what it really does to benefit the community when those few thousands could really go into something local and try and make the place better for people rather than giving us little treats, of some sparkly fireworks. It just seems pointless. I'm just intrigued. I forgot to tell you, I found out someone I know is. I forgot to tell you, but I found out someone I know who stuck a pin in you in Kingsway swimming baths. Okay. Well, that must have been like a long, long time ago. I don't remember having a pin stuck in me at the swimming baths. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm avoiding all possible.
yeah, I think you should just
I'm just
me
here.
the rest
I'm
of the details.
Yep. Nope.
Just text those.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about the Queen.
Yeah, thinking about the Queen. So what have I missed? What have I missed? Oh yes, that's what you should try. Do you have those tanks over there with those fish?
Oh, I know what that is. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard of people doing that. Yes. No, okay, you know what? I may let and here's why. If I did it, I would have to listen to the theme song of Red Dwarf. I would have to do that.
Oh right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I love that show, and the theme song would be aptly appropriate. So if I do that, I will listen to I will do so while listening to the theme song of Red Dwarf.
Well, maybe we can arrange that. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kind of like feeling like I've missed out on something in the chat, but I haven't. So, I don't know if what is it? Johnny. He loves the heel. Johnny's a newbie to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
If you've got any questions, we won't have the answers, but let's hear your questions.
But
As a newbie,
yeah.
what's your what you're thinking about Bigfoot? What have you seen or heard? What makes you feel like I guess it's all questionable, isn't it?
Yes.
But I know when I try and explain Bigfoot to someone who knows nothing about it, it's really difficult to make sense of it in the space of like 15 minutes, even after. It's just really hard, isn't it? Even in a few minutes, how on earth do you
Yeah.
explain this thing without feeling like you need to say to people, look, you need to research it, you need to spend some time looking into it.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to steer people in the right direction.
Oh, exactly. Because to your point, there are very few, there are little to no answers. I think there are a few answers out there, but there's little to no answers, but there's a lot of theory, a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinion. Um, some opinions are more based in, reality than some others, but the problem is no one's got anything definitive. Like really, there's a handful of evidence that is like, okay, this is something you can look at and say objectively, this is a real thing. But everything else becomes very, very subjective, and is open to a lot of interpretation. So there are a lot of, there's a lot of opinion, but very, very few answers.
Yeah, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll have some answers. Who knows?
Well, I'm having tea with him next week, so I'll let you know what he says.
All right, sure. Yeah. What time are you having tea? You having tea like we have tea over here in England at 2 p.m. every day?
Yeah, actually, yes, we're having high tea, and we will be having those little cucumber sandwiches with the salad cream,
With the
and
crust off.
we're with the crust off.
Yeah.
Yes, as is appropriate. The Queen Mother may stop by and say howdy. You never know with her; she's a wild woman.
Yeah.
But yes, we will be having a proper high tea with sandwiches.
Nice. Thank you
I'll let
very
you know what he
much for
says.
that. I appreciate that. Some people would be put off if you gave them the heel, the end piece
Yeah,
as a sandwich. It's a really
it depends.
preference thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. It
Depends.
is. But there are things you can do with the heel you can't do with the rest of the bread, though.
Mm-hmm. Go
So
on.
I mean, that's
Well, I guess,
well,
yeah.
no, yeah, it's thicker, right? It has that you have since you do have the crust on the outside,
Yeah.
like particularly like gravies, right? And actually, one of my, as a barbecue fan, one of the things you can do with the heel that it's real hard to do with the rest of the bread is you can use it to like, you know, clean things off. You get a good soaking of the leftover pieces of brisket and barbecue sauce. It's amazing.
Yeah. Dip it in the worst
And there's
bit.
some sandwiches.
As what?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
Well, and even as sandwiches, there are things that you can. Oh, as a
Oh
sandwich,
yeah.
you can, particularly if you use both of them. Yeah, there are things you can do with it you can't do with a normal piece of bread.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I use well, it's not the heel. I can't use the heel for it, but I don't have my grill doesn't work on my cooker. So what we'll call the grill is there's a top oven, isn't there, on your cooker? You have
Mm-hmm.
a bottom oven and a
Yeah.
top oven, and there's an element on the top of the top oven where I call that the grill. We call that the grill here. I know you like barbecue
Okay.
grill, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
that top oven where you could put cheese and toast under and it would melt it. That's the grill to me.
I
But
gotcha. Yeah.
my element doesn't work anymore. So in order for me to make cheese on toast, I have to toast a slice of bread, and then I slice it like to open it up like a pocket, and then I shove
Mm-hmm.
cheese in, and then I shove it back in the toaster. It's not the best way to do it, but it does work. If anyone ever
Actually,
gets
it
that.
sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to toast it first so you can actually cut it, separate
Right.
it down from the top in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've put all sorts in those things, and it's just I just don't want it to leak because I don't want the fire, obviously.
Right.
It's probably dangerous. Probably don't
Right.
try this at home. It's just my way of getting cheese on toast. It's actually cheese in toast. But what I was going to say, I've also sometimes, when my grill was working, is rolled Have you got a rolling pin out and flattened your slices of bread?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's nice. You do that and put your bits on it under the grill, and it's just like crispy bread then, like crispy, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
new thing to try.
Yeah.
What's this? Bacon roast over the fire. Use crusty bread. Let the bacon grease. Ugh, yes.
Yeah.
Bacon's done. Use the bread to eat your bacon. Oh, allergic to what? Bread or bacon? I'm guessing bread
Yeah.
or bacon. I mean, what about gluten-free bread's pretty rubbish.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, there's again, my family has to be gluten free. She's actually got my wife is celiac, and so the kids have inherited it. Gluten-free bread is very difficult to do well. You can do it well, but it's never it just doesn't have the same cohesiveness as bread with gluten in it. So yeah, I get it.
Mm. Eddie Cash, Daniela put the electric toaster on its side. There you go. Could be problem solved there.
Yeah.
Um, which bit am I referring to? Which bit do you mean? Which bit of the bread? Is that what you mean? A slice of bread, and then you toast it, and then cut the top off, and then separate it. Put a knife in between to put a gap in between bread. It's a bit. Maybe I should do a video on it next time I do it.
Yeah.
I put that cheese with the truffle. I just send you a picture of that cheese. I
Yeah.
think it's really nice. But yeah, I've never had maple on bacon. I know you
Oh.
have, but yeah.
Well, we have a very different type of bacon though, so that may be another thing. Our bacon is very different from your bacon.
Yours is a lot thicker, isn't it?
It's actually, I think even the cuts are different. Some of it can be thicker, but it's cooked very differently. It looks very different. I think
Yeah,
I think it may even come from a different part of the pig. Come to think
we
of it,
have different cuts. It's like
yeah,
street bacon, back bacon.
yeah.
Probably that's it. The only two that I can think of. And then it goes into gammon. That's obviously a different cut, but it's as salty as the bacon. They're all. I mean, yeah. I don't have.
Yeah, I think I would call your bacon ham. Basically, I like sort of like again we have Canadian bacon and in Canada it's just ham. So
Well, ham's like you'd put in a sandwich.
yeah,
Yeah, it'd be too thin to be called bacon, even though bacon can be really thin. But the
yeah,
ham's cooked, isn't it? And the bacon's not.
that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah,
So we wouldn't call it that. But
yeah.
that's what I want. I bought homemade bread. Are you saying oven?
Hmm.
An OT, what does that mean? OTW, home from the woods today. Oh, right. 2 slices in the toaster, nice. Yeah, I like toast. It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to stick in there. Titan says, Daniela, do you plan to come to Texas one day? Jason, putting you to Southern hospitality, especially Texas barbecue. Well, if I come over, I'll be definitely heading over to Jason's for a foot massage with the salt.
There you go.
To start
There we go.
with, and then we'll have the barbecue.
Oh, I'm going to introduce you to Whataburger.
Gravy and biscuits. Can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
biscuits and gravy, Whataburger,
Some gravy,
Bucky's. You have to have some beaver nuggets.
beaver nuggets. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. And what's the other thing? The mountain oysters.
You're on your own for that one.
Yeah, I know.
I, I keep seeing on TikTok people like, all right, if you want to go carnivore, you got to have, and they're like lamb testicles, and I'm like, no, just not doing it. No,
No.
no.
No, why would you when you've got all the rest of the stuff to eat?
Again,
Delicacy for some people.
there's some things I understand. Like you lived 1,000 years ago, food was hard to come by. You don't waste anything. I'm down with that idea. I just don't see the need to eat testicles or eyeballs in the 21st century. Again,
No.
you're an uncontacted, tribe in the middle of the Amazon. Eat whatever you want. I'm not about to judge, but if you got a car and a cell phone and you're eating testicles, I'm out.
What is it about us though that decide what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to eat?
Oh, that's a great question.
You- What
Yeah. What?
what's what? Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot. But
Why is it? Why is it? Why do we look at pigs and cows and chicken and think, yep, that's tasty, but then we look at dogs and cats and think, no, that's a fluffy friend. I mean, I think some of it makes sense to a point. You don't want to eat predators and dogs and cats, or we can domesticate them for other uses. Like that's why people are, a lot of people are oogie about eating horse meat, right? They do seem a little bit more intelligent. We have other uses for them than meat per se, but then we do have these other things that work really, really well, and they aren't particularly bright. So we're kind of okay. We're more okay with that. But then to your point, it's like, why is eating again? Why the testicles is frowned upon, but the shoulders. Part of it is that I think we're just spoiled, right?
possibly. But what changed that? When once upon a
Mm-hmm.
time they'd eat everything and they say like the brain's got the most vitamins in it or whatever, or the other thing is, like you say, maybe we do get spoiled, don't we? Like now
Mm-hmm.
we're at an age where we could just put something in the microwave and it's cooked. We don't even need
Yeah.
to think about it. But yeah, we don't eat the best bits really when we think about it.
Part of it is I think we eat the all right. A lot of this comes down to familiarity, right? Just things that you're familiar with. And when you're talking about something like, say, a cow that weighs 2,000 pounds, the majority of it is going to be, a lot of that's going to be meat, and that's going to be cheaper. And things like a lot of the intestines and things that the other parts of people, it's not as tasty. Brains, the tongue, testicles, that's stuff that's not necessarily it's more rare, right? It's smaller, there's less of it, so it's going to be more expensive. And most of us, even if you're wealthy now, most of us have had some sort of less affluent uh upbringing. And so the thing is, those of us who came up, our ancestors were poor, so even though it was a much more prosperous time than, say, 200 years ago or 300 years or 500 years ago, our fathers and grandfathers and great grandfathers still grew up when there was a little bit more of other things going around. So you ate the cheaper meat. Like bologna is expensive now. Lingua is expensive now. I'm like, what in the heck happened? Well, what happened was people who grew up on bologna and people who they got money, and so they started eating that. It became trendy. Once it became trendy, it became expensive. And so the thing is, most of us didn't grow up eating brains or testicles or kidneys or whatever, and because it's not necessarily the same flavor profile we grew up with, we're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, definitely. I know my dad will eat absolutely anything, like fish eyes. He'll just suck everything out of it, and the brains and the fat. I always used to leave the fat off steak or whatever, and he'd just eat it, just no qualms. But he was one of 9, and food
Right.
was, you made the best of everything. And like you say, you get spoilt, don't you, over the years. Fred Muppet says apparently if you eat the testicle, it works like a natural version of Viagra. Did you just read that one
That
out
is
before?
a
I think I missed that.
I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the but again, that's myth. That's the stuff people. That is the stuff that people talk about to make them more okay with eating. Because I think even they thought it was gross back then. But to the point, things become cultural, right?
well,
Like
you have to prove
one
it.
culture, like, yes, let's roast guinea pigs.
Yeah, well, they probably do. They probably do. At my age, you never waste anything. That's fair enough. Yeah, and
Yeah.
other cultures, they do eat dogs, don't they?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know. Just find it all a bit weird. I do eat meat, but I eat less of it now than I used to because I don't like how things are done.
Mhm.
But I mean, I still eat it, but it's just
And that's
weird
and
how,
that is fair.
yeah, but a lot of us just do that, don't we? But we have like a farm up the road where they have, kids can go and visit and see what farm animals and things like that. And every year they'll
Mhm.
have a pig who's given birth, and there'll be all the little piglets there. And basically, it's the kind of hosting the pig, so it's got an environment where it can give birth, in a good,
Mhm.
clean, healthy environment. It also attracts people to come and visit the farm. But
Mhm.
there's other little kids there going, "Oh, aren't they cute?" and that. Do they realise that they're eating bacon for the breakfast? That it's the cute little that they think is a cute little thing,
Mhm.
um, and they're being brought up to eat those cute little things. What that effect is, if there is an effect, there clearly isn't. Because I grew up loving animals. I guess, yeah,
Mhm.
and I eat them, but we're kind of pushed into it, aren't we? It's like it becomes normal to like, but yet we
Mhm.
wouldn't do that now. We'd be more conscious of it, I think.
Well, now this is a much broader conversation, but I would argue that one of the bigger issues here, one of the primary reasons for the consumption of meat is that it's a much more effective uh, transmission of calories, proteins, things like that. There are whole cultures that don't eat any kind of plant matter, um, because the proper transmission of calories and vitamins and minerals from red meat to the human is actually much more effective. But that's all secondary. The bigger issue here is that we are separated from how the world actually works, right? Like one of the things that I could not wrap my brain around growing up was I saw a thing on a zoo in New York, and they had such exotic animals as a cow and a raccoon. And I'm over here like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what a cow is, or what a horse is, or what a raccoon is? Like these things, like I have raccoons walk in, and possums. Like I have these things coming into my garage at night, to try and raid my garbage. What are you talking? I can walk out. I could walk 2 blocks and find numerous cattle. Like what? But it's because they lived in a city in which those things are just gone. They don't exist. We are so set. We are so separated from how we get things. People, we're experiencing certain food shortages, and and not to get into the politics of all that, but there were interviews with people saying, well, hey, how do you feel about like months and months, even earlier into the pandemic, people were saying, hey, we're having trouble with production lines and we're worried about food shortages. Then they actually would say, well, why don't you just go to the store?
Right.
Like they couldn't understand that the food at the store came from farms and ranches that they grew food. They had to harvest the food, and that food had to be processed and put into packages to be brought to the store. They didn't understand that. They don't understand how products are made, or where products are made, or how they get to where they can be purchased.
Mm.
It is a complete divorce from the reality of where anything comes from. And I think in many ways that's part of a lot of the problems that we have with our culture, is that we're divorced from actual reality. We think we can just determine what reality is because we have all this technology around us. And it's like you can only hide in that bubble because there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people living in the real world. But the problem is that as a culture, we've been trying to bring people out of the real world and put them into these bubbles and cocoons of where everything's sanitary and everything's done for you, and you don't have any And so they don't understand what these things are. They don't understand what a pig actually is, or why that pig even exists. Where did that pig even come from?
Mm.
Right? Why? Like, they're so divorced from that reality that, yeah, I mean, they'd probably freak out. But then it's like, okay, but do you actually? But then the problem is like, well, I'm going to become a vegetarian because I don't want to eat the pig. Okay, fine. That I don't care. But do you even understand where your vegetables are coming from? What it takes to harvest them? What it takes to grow them?
Mm. I mean,
But you
what
even,
part of the chicken is a nugget?
yeah,
You know, it's working out that, isn't it? The fingers on the
mhm,
fish.
yeah.
It's a
Hey,
mystery in itself, isn't it?
I don't know about you, but I love whenever I would catch a fish, playing the little piggy game with it. It's like this little piggy went to market and this little piggy stayed home with the fish. The fish loved it because, you play with their fingers and toes. The fish loved it all. Yeah,
They love that one.
they
Or
do.
round and round the garden,
Mhm.
like a teddy
Yeah,
bear. One step.
exactly.
They love that one.
Bass love
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, always when I'm fishing, I
Mhm.
do that on a regular basis. So, yeah,
I've
I'm glad.
had fish
I'm glad
jump
that.
into my boat and be like, please play the piggy game with
Yeah,
my toes, please.
yeah. They come out all jazz hands, don't they?
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah,
It's like chop, chop, chop. We've got to make, fish fingers for
yeah,
kids because maybe they wouldn't like to see a whole fish with its tail and its head
yeah.
on a plate.
And,
Uh,
and kids don't even understand where buffalo wings come from. Do you know how hard it is to get buffalo wings
I
off of a
know,
buffalo?
I know. And
Just
chickpeas,
yeah,
chickpeas even harder. You know,
yes.
uh,
Hmm.
that question was asked once. Do chickpeas come from chickens? Hello, Charlotte Evans. I've not mentioned rabbit. I don't like rabbit. It's just an odd taste for me, and I just think these small animals, leave them alone. There's not much meat on a rabbit, is there?
Well, so the issue with so here's the okay. So I know rabbit is a much bigger thing in Europe than his. It's just not a thing in the United States
All
by
right,
on
okay.
average. Now I have had rabbit. They again as fast as they to a point. It's like no, we probably need to eat them. Otherwise, we'd be overtaken by rabbits. But the thing about rabbit though, and this is a real thing. I didn't even know about this until Venezuela. There's a thing called rabbit starvation because rabbits have zero fat on them. Like there's just no fat on a rabbit. So when you kill it and you eat it, yes, you're getting protein, but you're not getting the fats that you need either. Again, this is why red meat is such a large part of our diet because it is way more beneficial than. And the thing is, you can eat a rabbit, but you have to supplant you have to get fats from other things like nuts or avocados or other animals because if you just eat that rabbit, you will actually get it's called rabbit starvation. I forget exactly what the problem is, but your body doesn't get the fat it needs, and so you basically starve. You have other nutritional deficits because of it.
Mm,
I'm kind of with you though. Like I don't mind. I like rabbit. It's fine, but I'm more of a chicken fan. I grew up eating chicken, so I mean,
yeah,
against what I'm used to.
exactly. Yeah, same here. Like I say, rabbit's just not
Mhm.
my thing. Um, People do go out hunting rabbits here, or
Yep.
they hunt
Hmm.
with dogs. They
Yeah.
do old pheasant hunting, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, duck eggs. So yeah, I've heard the same thing, Titan. So the duck eggs are better tasting than chicken eggs. My sister-in-law raises ducks, and she loves duck eggs.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean that's a my wife keeps. Hold on
their egg,
here.
the yolk is much thicker.
Mhm.
There's much more taste to them. Even ostrich eggs. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
used to get them now and again round here. Uh,
Oh, I've never seen one in life that wasn't like a science experiment or something.
yeah, I think the yolk, the
Mhm.
white, was quite tough
Mhm.
actually. When I cooked it, pretty sure it was ostrich egg. Hope
Yeah.
I'm not making that up.
I have seen. So there's another thing, right? Like organic chicken eggs versus like the sort of the larger farms because they use feed, right? Well,
Yeah,
because again, people tend to forget chickens are carnivore or technically insectivores, but I mean they want protein. They need protein to do what they do. And chickens that eat a lot of protein through insects and stuff like that, their yolks are very thick and it's very, very orange or yellow. Like
Yeah.
it's a much deeper, darker, richer color. And I was shocked when the first time I saw an egg that had I haven't even seen it in real life, just on pictures. It was like, here is an organic egg where the chickens basically just ate insects, right? They didn't get any supplements, and it was like just this dark, rich. I was like, at first I didn't even realize what it was. And then I heard it say someone was like, "No, this is what it is." I'm like, "Okay, I didn't realize they got like that. I thought it was maybe a different type of egg." It was like, "No, it's just the diet." Right?
Mm.
Because so to your point, and I do agree. I think one of the things we should do as a society is actually we kind of need to take a step back from a lot of this stuff and actually go more towards. Um, I mean, you can call it more sustainable, but even
More.
so, factory farming is largely is a misnomer, but I'll use the term. We need to go back to where we're actually allowing these animals to have a more natural process to have. But our farming products our farming needs to change because we've depleted the soil so much that the food doesn't have any nutrients in it, right? Like that's why it used to be 4 servings, but now it's like 8 servings of vegetables. Well, the problem
Yeah.
is there's no vitamins in it because we've depleted the soil. We haven't done the things that you're supposed to do to maintain a healthy, rich soil environment, and so our food has nothing in it. It's worthless now.
Mhm. Yeah, it is, isn't it? We've just, like you
Mhm.
say, lost everything. Plus, when it's picked, as soon as it's picked, it starts to lose everything. And, we're
Mhm.
eating old foods
Yeah.
basically as well. What we're buying in the supermarket, stuff like that,
Hmm.
it's not that fresh. Um, my friend has chickens, and I get eggs regularly, like every week.
Hmm.
And I just absolutely love. They're not completely organic, but they're fed on well, good veggies, as good
Yeah.
as good as we get anyway. But they've got the land as well, and they're always, finding
Hmm.
stuff to nibble on, insects and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
there's a huge difference. Used to get them delivered by the milkman, my eggs, and I used to crack them, and the yolk is pretty much what's this palest yellow you can imagine.
Yep.
And then I crack the eggs from my friends, and like they're just a beautiful orange, dark orange
Yeah.
kind of yolk, and they taste amazing. I really do love eggs. So yeah, there is a difference in as well, meats that are the way they're kept, the animals are kept, the whole stress levels of going through. I don't know if you can tell the difference between an animal that's died, scared out of its mind, and it the body's more tense,
Hmm.
um, to an animal that's killed in a more humane way. Um, I don't know. Animals you pay more, don't you? The better the animal's treated,
Yeah.
you pay more for the meat, the products from it. So, um, and it's obvious. You can literally taste the difference.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and again, it goes back to your point. We eat old food because a lot of this food is being shipped from massive distances. It's like you shouldn't be having bananas in winter or strawberries in winter, and that's the problem. Is they're picked green, they're allowed to ripen on the way here, and during that process, all of the nutritional value of those fruits and vegetables are destroyed because
mm,
it's ripening off of its own product versus something that's vine ripened. Well, the thing about vine ripened is it's going to take longer. It's not going to last as long on the shelf. So we do have again. I really am of the opinion that like we need. There are again. If I was king, an emperor of the world, there would be some. That would be one of the massive changes. We'd go not to an agrarian society, but we would actually. But I think we don't understand the necessity of it of food, and I do think a lot of the problems that we see today partly comes from the fact that our food is worthless. We're
mm,
you know we adopted changes to lifestyle without understanding what it would do to us because that's what we do. Whatever the newest and coolest technology is, we adopt it immediately. We never really look down the because ultimately we don't even know, right? We're not aware. But I read something on And not to change the subject, but it's just more of an idea. And they were talking about the dangers of pornography with the human brain. And one of the things they said is the problem that they're having now is they can't find children and teenagers who haven't experienced porn, so they can't compare the brain patterns. They said, imagine if you lived in an area where everyone smoked since they were 8.
Mm-hmm.
You would imagine that black lung, cancers and things like that would be common for 20-year-olds because you'd have nothing to judge it against.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, that's where we are. We adopted a lot of these changes as whole society. So it's hard to see where it's like, well, what happens if you grew up eating this versus this? It's hard. We can't even compare them really anymore. And
No.
so we adopted a lot of these things, not understanding what it could do. And I can't imagine that that's not playing a role in a lot of the problems that we have today.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the best thing is there isn't a best thing, but to literally strip back food, stop eating processed rubbish, eat seasonal veg, grow your own stuff, I guess, is if you're going to get anything from it. And also the mindset of like what you're eating is energy, or is what you're eating a treat?
Yep.
How do we look at food when we're eating it? Are we just like a car? We need to refuel and we're putting energy into our body. Or for some people, making food and what they eat, the sweeter it is, the more savory it is. That's what they're after, and not actually any nutritional value. We have lost our way with it a lot, and we're kind of limited now to what's out there because of mass production, and it has to be cheap, doesn't it, to produce it all, to make it work for people. So there's a lot of that. What do? You do your own thing if you can.
Well, exactly. Right now, there's no such thing as I don't even believe in perfect solutions, right? I don't think that's actually that's not even a thing that exists, because everything's a compromise no matter what you do, right? The question is, what is the best way forward? And to your point, changing an entire society is not something that happens overnight. So the best thing we can do is, again, you make choices like we are. We're trying to grow our own foods, and you create relationships with people who are doing organic local farming, and you support them. It costs more, but sometimes that's worth the decision, because we have to make. The problem is we want to have everything, and we want to be. It's like, well, guess what? You don't get to have super cheap food and health and healthy food. We get the super cheap food because it's not worth anything nutritionally. So we have to realize that, again, life is sometimes about compromising, and it's like, well, what is the most important aspect to you, and you go from there.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, it's not easy, but the better quality you buy, you might spend a bit more, but you're going to waste a lot more on the cheap stuff that's easy to eat. It is a balance, isn't it, of working out what's right for you. And I think if you looked at food as energy more than a treat, or
Or comfort.
a comfort, you probably save a lot of money by eliminating a lot of the stuff that you really don't need. So, but yeah, it's easier said than done, isn't it? If you follow like a keto diet, you realise that it's very basic, and you're cutting out a hell of a lot of stuff. I think processed stuff, maybe not the cheese, but you're cutting out a lot of crap. And it feels cleaner eating like that than shoving yourself with bread and carbs. The bad carbs. But yeah, it's not cheap either. Food, that's a problem.
No, it is. Well, again, it's more expensive, and that's one of the reasons. Again, from an archaeological perspective, the thing about breads right, rice, any kind of grain, is that it is cheaper and allows you to build a larger society because you've got more food to go around. But one of the things that any archaeologist will tell you is you can tell immediately when a society adopts uh, agriculture of grains because their dentition goes to crap because of the sugars, right? And it's one of those things where, yeah, I mean, as humans, we're not really designed to eat as many carbs as we are. In fact, we're not really designed to eat as often as we do. I mean, really, if we think about it, up until very recently, within the last 2 centuries, eating every day or eating multiple meals a day was unheard of. It just was. It's not something that happened. Like maybe you did eat once or twice a day, but they were small foods, right? You ate as you had availability. Um, I mean, that's how the human body was designed. It was designed to be honestly under more physical stress than we have today. The oddity of our life is that in fact, I got into sort of a minor, not argument, but a disagreement with Tex over this on Wednesday's show. We talk about how stressful life is, and I'm over here like, and I agreed with him on this aspect because I make the same point. I'm like, you're telling me things were more stressful, or less stressful 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. We are the most we are the most spoiled generation to ever exist on the planet at all. We have as much food as you could want. We have machines doing all of our physical labor. Like this is the less. This should theoretically be the least physically stressful point in human history, and in one regard, it is. However, because of all the things we've discussed, in many ways, it is actually more psychologically stressful, and that does play out in our bodies. Emotional and psychological stress does affect your body. So our bodies are under more stress, and a large portion of it, back to our conversation at hand, is the food that we're eating.
Mm.
And so one of the big things about like celiac with my wife is that if you eat one of the problems of eating gluten is that it actually eventually kills the alveoli that allows you to absorb those minerals and nutrients. So that's someone who has gluten problems. But the broader issue that I'm seeing, and I've read a lot of people who've talked about this, is again because of all of the carbs, all of the foods we're not used to eating, again, and even the chemicals. I think a lot of this food that we're eating like the nutrition isn't getting into our bodies, and so your body is becoming overly stressed because it's
Mhm.
not getting what it needs from what it is. So you're putting more in, but you're getting less out, and that does take a toll physically.
Oh yeah. I mean, stress is,
Mm-hmm.
in your stomach. It knots up. All of it goes to your stomach, I think, or stems from your stomach, and from
Mm-hmm.
there, that's where we get all our issues from. Um, Intolerance to foods, and just accepting food or letting it go. Food's a massive thing, isn't it, for
Yeah.
emotional stuff, as is
Mm-hmm.
drugs or and other things. But I guess food is a
Mm-hmm.
really complicated one
Oh, it
because
is.
we can damage ourselves so much with the things we're eating as well,
Mm-hmm.
without realizing it. And I think food has a massive part to our illnesses,
Yeah.
nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, from eczema to psoriasis to all sorts of things. I mean, um, it's fascinating. My friend does can test allergies on people
Mm-hmm.
and pets and stuff. And she said it's really, really easy. As soon as you start to put an item of food into your mouth, your body will start to tense up. And that's how she detects it, is through muscle and the way when something's not good for you. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely know when you don't want to eat something where it's just not gelling with you. I could never eat barley. I always found it really slimy in soups,
Yeah.
and there's other things,
Mm-hmm.
prawns, like the big prawns.
Yeah.
I can only have a few. They're really rich. They're really rich in protein, and only so much I can take of them. So if we listen to our bodies a little bit more and the things we're putting in our mouths, we're actually really quick to test what these things are, how our bodies are going to react to them if we just listen to our bodies a little bit more. So
yeah. No, and that's not even talking about the poisons that we're putting in the water for fish, like mercury, and like that's a show into itself what we're doing to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but to the broader point here is food is remarkably important. I mean, which is the dumbest statement on earth, but the broader meaning here is it's not just access to food that matters, which it is, but it's also the value of the food.
The right food.
And the right food. The problem is we're not eating that as a society, and it has broader consequences, and it's having, and a lot of I think we're seeing a lot of that now.
Definitely. Well, we'll go into it a bit more next time, maybe. Like sugar is like a terrible.
Sugar is basically a poison.
Yeah, but we all like it. Unfortunately, I find it really hard to give up. I've tried it, but might have to try a bit harder. But guys, we have come to the end of the hour, and it's been fun. And we will be back next week with more talk of food and allergies and whatever else we can think of. Oh, we're not going to be back next week because
Well, we won't. You can do the show. You'll do it with a hole in your heart because I'm missing.
Abandoning me, basically.
Yes. Well, I'm going to be bringing. We're going to the Alabama Bigfoot conference to talk about it and meet people and shake hands, kiss babies, do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, but then the week after I'll be back and we can talk about wonderful things.
Well, if anyone wants to join me next week, send me an email, Mr. Powers. Maybe we should do next Sunday if you're about and free, and we could talk about your allergies because he's got allergies.
Oh, yeah.
Food stuff. He has to eat meat because he's soy and whey as an allergy to that. So it's not easy for people, is it? Send me an email, Max, or I'll get in touch with you, and definitely next Sunday. That'll be fun. So until then, everyone, I hope everyone has a great week. And I think there's going to be an encounter hub in the week. I'll let people know, the people who usually come on. I'll send you a message, and if anyone else wants to join the encounter hub, send me an email. Do it before Wednesday if you can. I think it'll probably be on a Thursday. So let me know if you want to join. You'll have to email me beforehand, and then I can send you a link to the studio. But until then, everyone, you have a great week, and we'll see you all soon. Good night.